bad. When you want to know who is wise, we check how much he can remain silent. So why do we now need to overcome silence if it is a good thing? Somebody might ask. There is a difference between being noisy and being vocal. Good afternoon. Chemoki. Good afternoon, sir. I greeted you when you walked past me. Hey, I'm sorry. Have you noticed that speaking is music? Even the act of talking is music. Some of you might need to take courses on how to talk. I'm not being insultive here. I mean how to talk, not what to say. It's my voice. I don't know how to speak low. Learn it. I saw our uncle controlling his speech when he came on. Good morning. Oh, let me reduce my voice. Good morning. The art of speaking. There's somebody I know that talks like this. Let somebody shout. That's not how he talks normally. That's for the pulpit. Because even if you present whatever you want to present in a way it cannot be acceptable, it will not still be acceptable. When I was preparing, I heard a Yoruba proverb. What does it mean? What does it mean? Do you know what it means? Let's start from there. Okay, tell us. It's what? Yeah. And you shout your name on him. Thank you. Thank you. I love that. It could be explained in a lot of ways, but when you show the Bible means you have already abused an elderly person. That's meaning of moi insho lebuagba. It's a proverb. A deep Yoruba proverb. Are you following, please? So there's a huge difference between being noisy and being vocal. I was in the premises of Lautech some days ago. I was planning to go out for a ministration that I was already late for. As I was about getting to the gate, they locked everybody in. You were in the school as well. And I had to switch to internal power for the gate to be opened. Because we take perfect ministration at that time. So they opened the gate that I needed to pass through. And a bike going nowhere parked in front of me. And to me climb. So he took me to the gate. I thought he was going to use my influence to come out. Only for him to get to the door and say he's not going anywhere and return back. So all he did was just to take me to the gate in time to meet up with when the gate was opened. So what I'm going to is that I saw a lecturer hold a student's neck at the gate, and the boy was telling him, "Hey, Legumio, you're not as strong as I am." And I looked at the boy. He looked at somebody I know, and I think he recognizes me to an extent. But I just walked past, and I discovered that he was trying to adjust and calm himself down. There's a difference between dialogue and noise. You want to make impact? Nigeria is point. Nigeria is point. Nigeria, and you are in SQI. I thought they said words, actions speak louder than voice. Let's do something. Let's create something. It will speak louder than complaining. So I've hit two things today. Number one is what? Your personality, who is talking. Number two is what? Your actions. Your actions. Things you're doing must go in line with your words. Because they will touch more than as much as I've explained silence to be a good thing. That's even when you're quiet. Look at this young man. Quiet, you. Quiet, beautiful young man. You are smiling. You're blushing. And he's even taking notes. That's please, a round of applause for him. Do you know that at the state where he is now, if I send him almost anything, he has 70% of following what I say? You know why? I have boosted his ego. I have beat down his barrier for disobedience and rebellion, because my approach have fueled him. If you want somebody to do something, tell him that what he has done so far is okay. He will do it more. But I know that our parents will not train us that way. And unfortunately, even though we are complaining about them now, let me just chip this in. If you have not started consciously on doing it in your mind or finding a solution to it, you will repeat the same. You have even started. Wow, I like this dress. Kilo. We hardly appreciate what is good. Look at how beautiful this place is. But we always see Yadoti. As much as silence can be presented to be acceptable, good, they say, this guy is quiet. It's more forceful to maintain that quiet state because somebody said you are quiet. And you know only if you see me in my house, among my friends, you will speak one day. As my dad will always tell me, you know what that means in English? Who knows what that means? Who wants to tell us? I know a lot of you know it, but to break the silence is an issue. Alright, who wants to break the silence here? That same person. Okay, go ahead. Let me hear you. Sir, this class is practical. Okay. Thank you. Please sit down. Have you noticed something? The two people that spoke are from this side. Why? You said what? NIN. I didn't get that. NID. Okay. How does that? They are arrested. Why did Mr. Oluwaseyi speak louder than the others? He's not afraid of being heard. You can see that the reason why you're not talking is because you have not even overcome yourself. You don't know how your voice will sound within that sphere. Now, another reason is because somebody beside him have spoken before. So there is a voice speaking in his vicinity. It can make him also talk. Okay, maybe you understand this way. Let me bring it to political parties. Why is it that some people said, you did not vote for somebody, and you said, Omar Wole? I will not mention anybody's name. Why? Why do you feel like? Because of the party he is in. Because people are winning in that party. You know, I think the last time we discussed here, we spoke about SECO, your environment. Do you know that if we bring somebody from Ila here, resident in Ila, maybe not here, maybe to Lagos, he will first be looking at the bridges and forget that they are both Nigerians. Do you know how many of you that are from Lagos used to act in Nigeria at large? Please, if you have not been to Lagos before, anytime you are going, don't go with what you have heard. Go subjectively. You will not go again. I'm serious. If I see a set of people that are suffering the most in Nigeria, it's Lagosians. I was born and bred there. So I have a right, and I spent over 20 years there before leaving for good. They are the ones suffering the most. Lagosians. You will take back 10 minutes, I'll be there. Anything that will take you 10 minutes to where you are going to, that is from, you will pay for it. maybe like 1.5. They say, well, 10 minutes, let every day. And 2K. And the person, he will ride like, when you get down, you are not the one that will get down. Because I sat down and thought, why are these people always, I see them in gatherings. So, decorate. These are the things affecting our minds in main vocal. Even among yourselves. Some of you here have not been to Lagos before and you feel inferior already. Lagos, sir. All you have is bridge. It's a good place to go to if you want to socialize, do business. But Oweko, Ekolombe. This kind of a hall in Lagos in a year should be about 10 million. In a year, 10 million you will build house in Ogbomosho and collect change. You'll be a landlord. I'm not saying Lagos does not have its own good. I'm using it to teach here. The environment have already bred into the mind of its inhabitants, residents, that they are better than others. And the entire Nigeria can swallow it. The only people dragging with them is Abuja and Port Harcourt. And now Akwa Ibom is rising. The things that you are learning at SQI here, am I making sense to somebody here? Yes, the things you are learning at SQI here, you don't know how much there is a balance. If you are learning tech alone, this is how you are. If you are using Mind Talk with it, you can stand firm. I know what I'm doing and I can present it acceptably. So henceforth, SQI occupants, can we turn this place to be a place where we will think we have what to say and we know how to say it? There was a time when OAU was a school everybody wants to go to. University of Ife. University of Ife. I also went there for years trying to enter. You okay? You too. You are a graduate of Ife. No, in Ife. Lautech. We came to Lautech eventually. Man, I was at Ife for years trying to enter. They have the facility, true. They have the quality. They add the quality, true. They had. It was a hard. Now hard, yes. I go and check them on the list now. At the point it was also Unilag. At the point it was UI. Do you know that now Lautech is rising? And it's not because of Lautech, so to say, but because of what the products of Lautech are doing. Whether it is with what they learned in school or not, the products of Lautech are making. Unfortunately, some of them are not relating back to Lautech because of what she is. But go and check Lautech graduates, not only in music, in this, in that. And that's what Mind Talk is going to do to SQI. Every one of us here, I am one proud person that I have an affiliate with SQI. I was in a gathering of people. I'm speaking at SQI on Monday. Not I'm speaking somewhere on Monday. It's a difference. We must carry the badge of this place with honor. And that's where we are going. This is how we can break silence. Have you captured this third lesson that I've picked up from what he did? The community. The community. If this place have only one person that makes it, we might not have a voice yet. I don't think it's a selfish movement. And that's one thing that is killing a lot of us. You want to be the one that your voice, you will only be loud vocally, you won't have impact. Do you know that if I want to introduce someone now and I say, come and meet this young man, is the lead tech expert in Microsoft, you will pay more attention because you heard Microsoft. But if you hear lead tech experts, your attention will still be there, but not as focused as when you mention Microsoft. My dear, we will do ourselves a lot of good in us overcoming this culture of silence in Africa if we, SQI products, can boldly, with honor and pride, point to SQI. Because that is what we read on a certificate. But if you say, where are you from? Somewhere in Ogbomoso, that alone kills it. Where are you from? SQI. SQI. You are going to SQI. Let him feel intimidated. You have never heard of SQI and you are in this Nigeria. I'm sorry. That alone is making that person, even if he says who is SQI, he will go back and Google it. Somebody listen to me here.
Yes, sir.
So you must belong to a community. That's why people that responded are from communities of those who are, they have seen themselves as here, so they can speak. There was a time when I'm a graduate of Ife. Now it's private university that is reigning. Babcock, finished from Pearls. That they present their certificates with that boldness. Because now we believe education must be expensive for it to be gotten. That those who are paying 30,000 naira tuition fee, how much is somewhere? In federal university, I think they want to remove it now. In federal university, they still pay that very small stipend. I think they are saying everybody should be paying this money themselves. I don't know how education will be for us in this Nigeria. But anyway, I believe I'm passing across a message to us all. Please let me know how much time I have left, so I won't overshoot. Silence is good, just as sugar is necessary in the body. But too much sugar can lead to diabetes. And that's a deadly disease. You know that, right? Too much sugar can kill. Yet your body needs sugar. It means that you need silence, but too much silence can kill. People can die in silence. And unfortunately, in Africa, in Nigeria, it is not only too much. It is now a culture. You can see how much we are dying daily under a culture. Permit me to explain this with, there was a guy called Pahu. Let me use that word. He was speaking at a place, and the book I read was explaining how he was talking. You know, there was a time when you are talking and people are, your congregation is holding stone. Talk rubbish. There's a guy called Paul. He was speaking, and all of you that he's speaking to were with stones. You understand what I mean? If you say nonsense, you are dead. If that was the generation we are in, then you must know what you want to say before you say it. Are you following? But in these days, even if you ask question, they will tell you he's rebellious. Not that you are with stone. You are like, sir, I think I have another mindset to this thing. What do you mean? What do you know? How old are you? When did you come into this ministry? They are beginning to. So we have used, like I said, the underlying culture that fuels the culture of silence. Are you getting the point? Sometimes we call it respect. I don't know something that's it. Even though you have the it is necessary. That's why I said we must be very careful how we approach this. We don't rush into breaking silence by being noisy. We still will not be heard. How are you talking that you are saying? Who are you? How many of those things? God. I know some of you are hungry right now in your mind. You know, especially all those are old adage. I used to walk in Sufi Lale. How many of you have heard that before? You don't whistle at night. Why? Whistling can attract snakes. in a mansion where there is tiles. I'm forgetting that snakes don't move on tiles. I believe you know that. Snakes don't move on tiles. I believe you know that. They don't. They can't. On shiny tiles, they can't move. They need friction and grip. They don't move on. So you are in a tiled house, you are whistling at night. But then snake can crawl in with your whistling. That's why they give the adage. And you see people still tell you today, your dad is a prof, and he's still telling you, so let me quickly just, give a little bit of, like I said, there should be, sugar is good, but too much is not good. Silence is okay, but making it a culture is dangerous. All right? So what are part of the things that caused or that led us to this point where silence became a culture for us? One of it is ignorance. You don't know what to say. And I think it's still better to keep quiet when you are ignorant. But if we must speak, then we must know what to say. Please pay attention to this point that I'm giving you, because I'm going to address them one after the other. Number 2 is our belief. I'm talking about Africans now. All right? Africans. Our belief. If we are going to say a thing, then our belief system must be strong, backing whatever we are saying. Do you know how much we believe in it's impossible? There was a time when I sat down and I felt, and I thought, what was the guy thinking that said electricity is a source of, what was it? I just said, what was it? He just sat down and felt, not shocking. Not baby. How can that thing make my body bring out light? Power blender, power TV, that can become an occupation for people that think they have power holding company, holding what power? Is it truth? Somebody created that thing that made the school start saying it's power holding. NC says it's power holding. Somebody does not understand tech, says because he can switch off one thing and put it on back. And every community will say up NEPA. We must change something. We must change something. You know why? We are already at the back end. This is the back end SQI. Of course, you know back end, front end. What so many people are enjoying is the front end. This building is the back end, where other things are being controlled. If we fail here, we will produce nothing. I'm challenging this house. If we fail in this room, Nigeria fails. Africa fails. This is where the power of innovation can be converted into what we can use, what we can see. This is where made in Nigeria can start from, acceptably, and have the power in the market. We call it equity, brand equity. That SQI, we have a very high, large brand equity in the society, in the ecosystem. You know what it means to have brand equity? Let me use Apple to explain to you. You know how expensive iPhones are. Even though you use it to call, you will use it and it has some better features, you will rather go and buy that expensive iPhone. What makes you to pay that much money to get what you will have gotten for lesser is their own brand equity. Every drink was reducing their money to a specific amount. Coke maintained 150 and created Limca as 100 naira to drag with the others. Those others score themselves big. It maintained 150. I have a class I'm serving to. I'm not going to be dragging with Biggie. So he created Limca. Where is Limca now? After Biggie calmed down, Limca left, kept on buying Coke. You will not hear the name of the person that made that noise. It is a noise. Are we going to, in this room, sit back and permit minds to be changed. That is who you are. My dear, your color, the color of your skin is a container. I cannot see you and say, your mind is black. What's the color of your mind? You cannot see a white man and say, he has a white mind. But they have made us think that black is evil and white is good. Jesus is a white man. Muhammad is a white man. As way, the devil is black. You can see that our belief is part of the things that is not making us talk. Number 2 is belief. Number 3, Africans are strong-willed people. If you are looking at stubborn people that it will be difficult for us to sit down and analyze things. Africans need. We can be so one-wayed. Got my time, let me just rush. We have strength, but I break down that strength into high physical strength and low intellectual strength. So, you hardly find. Have you ever seen your parents ask you, "Kilo nse," and you tell them, "Monko programming, monko Python," and you're like, "Kilo fi nse." While also ya samad go while kobo she nransho. How many of you have been in that category before? You are learning. Okay, you might not be here. For them to send you here, that means your parents know you need to be here. But some of us know. I'm in the garden of youth, and I know what I hear daily. I've seen a mother who told her graduate daughter, that one said, "I'm learning web front end. Kilo fe fishi. Hello, front end designer. Ronsho designer. Okay, designer. Oh, that's true. Front end and fashion is fashion designer and Ronsho. Oh God. Thank you. All right. So, but thank God that this thing is changing. It's changing because I'm sorry, I'm not flattering SQI here because I've been invited here to speak. No, please. There's one thing I will not do in my life is lie. And we are enemies. I'm not saying this because the management are seated. No, please. I think the last time I came, I challenged something in the house that I want to change on. If I'm not vocal enough to speak the truth, then I'm wrong standing here to speak at all. The truth is, this movement is already correcting that status quo. Only if you can flow with it. For example, your testimony is going to make your colleagues' parents say, I'm around Buru see the same place. Whoa. That's a statement. That's breaking silence. So many people have walked past in front of this place, not knowing this is the path to their destiny. They are waiting for one of you to show forth, not with your words, but with your actions, to tell, I'm supposed to be here also. It's not too late. Somebody following me here? And I pray and hope that we will achieve this. Is SQI believing that? That we are going to achieve this. We're going to change the status quo, as our anthem says, making Africa a tech continent. We are very good, Africans, we are very good at following the following attribute. We have a good following attribute. We are good followers. That's another thing that led us to the place of silence. We prefer to follow. Permit me to use this word. That's the reason why you find a lot of people crowd going for religious programs and attending seminars. I'm not talking about different places now, the same place. Thank God that they introduced me as a pastor. I've organized programs before. Yesterday was our anniversary. I said that we are in the birthday celebration mood. We finished service 2 p.m. Sir, the church was still filled up to outside. 2 p.m. We organized a program in church on tech, on business, around 11 in law. So I'm not talking about outside, I'm talking about us. That even if you do it inside the church or religious, they will still not see it as what they need. But tell them that they want to be deliverance or the killing of your enemy. It will be filled to the brim. It tells our mindset. Because we are good at following. Whenever we commit us to the place of doing, we reject it. You are doing it, let's follow you. There was a time when bead making was raining and everybody was doing, I'm doing bead fireworks. There was a time where MUA was raining, makeup artists, everybody makeup. Now it's POS. We are good at following. Nobody wants to think. And that's why I said we have low intellectual strength and high physical strength. We hate discomfort to change. So we rather go silent than talk. When I say talk, please, I already explained, I'm talking about actions now. I've been in gatherings of youth speaking, and on the day of execution, you don't find anybody but a few. But come to the time of let us deliberate, let's talk. Let's do it this way. Oh, come on, I've been in those gatherings. To be a youth leader in the I've been in those gatherings. 15 youths will be talking. This and execution, you find nobody. Because so many of us don't like change. A lot of us sweat for the government when they were doing on G road. Kilo shout people you now. Today you are taking selfie on that same road. We don't want change. And that's the reason why we keep quiet about whatever is going on. Let me finish here. Lack of control and order. I've already said that before. Lack of control and order. We blacks, we keep quiet for so long, and when we are going to talk, we talk so loud that nobody hears. We do not know how to sequence our actions in such a way that it can be heard and accepted. I think I've been able to do justice to a lot of things. Thank you very much for having me this morning.
Thank you so much, sir. A round of applause. So I'll be quite honest. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you so much. I learned quite a lot, to be honest. And one of the things I forgot about the mic. I learned a lot, to be quite honest. And one of the things that I learned that really stuck with me is the fact that every single thing that we do is backed up by a voice. For example, the way I'm speaking right now is backed up by a voice. So, in our subconscious, somehow, the kind of English that I'm speaking has been passed to us as a better version of English, as opposed to if I'm speaking another type of English. So something like, who are you? Where are you coming from? Where are you going? So that has been sold to us over time, and we've believed that this current version that I'm speaking right now is superior. The way we dress is also a big, because I'm always thinking about it every single morning, suit and tie. Oh, now? Yes. So where did we get that culture from? I mean, you are trying to climb the bus, you are on suit and tie everywhere. Why don't you wear something simpler? Why is it not accepted? Now they wear suit and tie because it's very cold for them. Their weather is cold, but we've accepted that no, when you are doing it, it must be a better version. So I think we need to go deep inside of ourselves and begin to think about how that, why do we do the things that we do? What ways can we do things better? Another thing that I'd also like to share is this. I don't know if the director will permit me to share that. We're in communication with a school in Canada very recently, and we noticed two things about them. The first thing that we noticed, so we're discussing partnership, and the two things that we noticed is this. Number one, the curriculum that they have is not exactly better than what we have. The second one, okay. The curriculum that we have is not exactly better than we have. So what they are learning right now in Canada is not different from what you are learning right now at SQI College of ICT. Number one. Number two, they included something called the Toastmaster program. If the director can remember. The Toastmaster program is a program that they have, I think, every Monday. And beyond the skills that they are learning character. What does that sound like? And interestingly, for the same thing that we do, I'm not going to mention a price, but their registration fee is more than our entire software engineering. And they will sell that to you, and you will buy it. Why? Because it's Canada. So a round of applause for what we are doing right here in SQI. You must begin to loud what we are doing. Loud it. Thank you so much, sir. I'm just going to take a minute and we are going to do something very, very special. Our rector is here and today is his birthday, so I would like for us to all rise, all rise, all rise. Prepare your soprano and your alto and your bass and everything as we are going to sing a happy birthday song to the rector. Are we ready? Yeah. Our voices ready? Yeah. Remember, you have to overcome the power of silence. Are we ready? 1, 2, go. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday to you. A round of applause, please. Thank you so much, Rector. Thank you. Thank you for all that you do for us. This is the engine behind SQI. This is one of our powerful engines. Without him, SQI will not be where it is today. Without him, you will not be gathered here listening and learning all the things that you are learning. So a round of applause to appreciate him once more. Thank you so much, sir. If we are yet to gather our questions and answers, I would like for us to do that. We can have our seats, please. Sorry to keep you standing for so long. If you have questions and answers, we're about to move to that to save our time. Please ensure that you write your questions down, give it to the ushers. The ushers are standing right behind you. Write your questions and answer. We might take about 2 to 3 people to speak to us physically. But ensure, okay, you want to come up, sir?
Yes.
All right. Thank you very much.
No, we are together.
Okay.
Okay. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I have taken so much note from what Mr. Tayo Shubowale have shared with us this morning. So, while you write down your questions, I would just want to emphasize on a few things that I believe will really, really help you. And I'm going to be starting with maybe a recording somehow. I'll pick it from there, then we'll have some things to share. This is a discussion with, you have mentioned a certain discussion, all right, on a partnership. This is another one. Okay, let's just listen to the audio. I will pick some things from the audio. I will not mention the name, neither mention the company nor whatsoever. Do we have it now? Okay. Okay.
Christiana is very familiar with that right now. It's always very late at night. We have morning, afternoon, and evening classes. The evening classes would probably be ridiculous. It wouldn't make sense at all. But the morning classes, which would be right now, the morning classes are running. They start at about 8:30 our time, which is 2 hours ago, and they go till about noon, 12:30, which is 2 hours from now. And if I think what you guys are right now, what time is it over there right now? Probably 9 hours ahead?
Yeah, so this is 6:44 p.m.
8 hours ahead. Yeah, so you're like Europe. So yeah, so it's not that bad, right? So it will go till probably about 9-10 p.m. So that's one way that I can see a possibility of collaborating the other way around. Basically hiring SQI to deliver a course, and there will be some obviously fees that will pay towards that instructions, but what it would look like is the professor would get online onto Zoom and they would teach. They could, if it works, the professor could teach in person on one of the campuses of SQI, have the camera on and microphone and everything, and there could be some ITD/SQI students sitting there in person as well while the course is being delivered.
Okay, all right. Well, I think there is one more thing SQI can offer.
Okay, now, taking it from what you've just spoken, that our silence is from, majorly from our belief system, a culture of our belief system. We somehow lack grit, with what we have, with what we know. We do not really believe in it. And for one reason or the other, or being a helco, we believe that something is always better when it is somewhere else. Okay? Now, with the way this looks like, these are places that people will sell their lands, sell their properties, and put together millions of naira and travel to go and learn. Now, these same people are looking towards SQI to train their students. Now, this is what I'm talking about. You can be sleeping with gold beside you, and you will leave it and go somewhere where it will be resold to you. You will travel thousands of kilometers for it to be resold to you, just because, maybe for one reason or the other, because it's beside you, you could not believe in it. So which means if you fail to be able to make that journey, embark on that journey, you will never have that good, because you do not just simply believe in it. There was a particular case at a point. We went to a university in a year, I think that was in 2014, and SQI presented its school management software, complete school management software. And the university in Calabar didn't call SQI back, all right? But we received a call from these developed countries. And the call was saying that they had a request from a university in Nigeria. Which university? The same university we went to. And the call was asking for the same, the request was for the same thing we presented to them here. All right? Now, they went there. They requested for that same thing. And the director of that startup called SQI. And was like, they have some people here in Nigeria that does presentation for them, but they are not doing well enough. So they felt maybe SQI could present their own software to that university. Okay? So while we were discussing, he said, but I from our research, we realized that SQI has a software like that as well. We now began to discuss, and he was saying, okay, there are some challenges we are still facing with our software, like 8 major challenges that you do not know how to fix yet. He was now asking that, how is it with yours? So he mentioned the first one, said, oh, already done here. Second one, already done here. Third one, already done here. By the 8th one, I told him already done. He said, unbelievable. Then he insisted on experiencing it. Said, you have to show me. Now, after showing the man, he said that, okay, in this case, you will present your own software, because those things they have not fixed gives them problem. The moment the organization is using it 1 year after, there will be trouble. So he said, then you are going to present your software as our own. Since they have already built that university about times 16 or times 18 of what SQI is billing them. Did you get that, sir? So they were going to pay times 16 of what they have here. So if not that the man agreed to present SQI software, they will be paying times 16 for what is less. Just because they believe that once it is right, like you were mentioning, UI, OAU, once you hear the name, it's not about your belief system any longer. It's just what you think or what you've been hearing that is fine. So you'll be hearing voices that leads you, that gives you direction. When are you going to contribute your own voice as well? When are you going to speak as well? Like Mr. Tayo said, he said, stop being an echo, be a voice. And there is this common saying that says, a closed mouth is a closed destiny. That saying is not for church. It's just a common law. Like a closed mouth is a closed destiny. Before, I used to say, I'm an introvert. Introvert don't talk. You see, if you are not if you are not what sorrow? Introvert don't talk. I'm an introvert. One day I just realized that if you remain an introvert, this software you are building, you will use it alone. What that software you look for? If you can't tell people how awesome what you have is, it will remain with you. So at that time, I knew that I had to start talking. And I remember I spoke with my wife. And I told her that, but why? Why is it so difficult to speak to people? But I enjoy speaking to two. If you are two, just two, with me, I can talk very well. But when it's 3, 4, I can still talk very well. But when there are many, then my wife said, hey, when you are talking, be talking to one out of the thousands that are seated. And that thing helped. Are you seeing ways by which you can break your silence? So when you're talking, just look at one person. That at least look at the one that is smiling. Some faces are not good here. That will encourage you to keep talking. So nobody came with this thing. But silence, it is very important for you to break it if you want to make it. If you just want to make any meaning, any sense at all. Because as long as you are silent, we believe you have nothing. No matter how much you have, you just have nothing. And unfortunately, naturally, African children don't speak. Have you noticed that? Yeah, African children of average class downward somehow don't talk. But all these other kids, we ask you, sir, what's your name? Why are you putting on cap? We ask you a question that we have shut up our own children on here. So somehow culture might have silenced you. Don't see it as you. All right? Don't see your being silent sometimes as you. It's just voices that makes you what you are. You might have to begin to work on breaking those voices, understanding now that it is not right for me to be silent. And whatever makes you silent, you might want to begin to break it now. As some of those examples you gave that I noted down, sir, was ignorance. If you think so many times you are silenced because you don't know what to say, then break ignorance, read books, put stuffs inside of you, learn something. Like meditate on things that you'll be proud of saying anywhere you are. When you're talking politics, do you have enough intellectual thing to contribute? You're talking programming. How loaded are you? Like, get yourself ready. Let ignorance be out of these things. So let me quickly go through. Do we have our questions already? Oh, very good. Very good. So let me quickly go through my notes so as to just strengthen the knowledge we've acquired this morning. Another thing you mentioned was that I know what I'm doing, but I cannot present it. Then which means nobody gets to know that you know about it. Then you also mentioned about working on a team. Everybody copy and paste that on their CV today. I am a great team worker? No. I am a good team player. Yeah, copy and paste. The moment you enter that interview room, they already know whether you are or you are not. That's a fact. I'm a good team player. So Pastor Tayo mentioned it that to being a good team player is the ability to communicate with the next person without commotion, without confusion, passing along your information clearly. You can begin to try that with your colleagues now. You mentioned something the first time, the person is still saying, I don't understand. It's still unclear. Then it means you have work to do. Use that opportunity to polish yourself before you get a greater opportunity outside there so that you will not lose it. And again, okay, I've mentioned this one. There are underlying culture that cultivates the culture of silence. So make sure you break those culture. I believe with these lessons we have gotten today, we will have a lot of people shining from this moment onward that will even request by themselves that I have something to share during my talk. And by the time they share, it's going to be full of impact. Is that person here?
Yes, sir.
Let me see your hand.
People will not rest.
People will not?
People will not rest.
Okay, let me see your hand again. Oh, okay. You are raising up your hand. Prepare something for the next mind talk. 5 minutes. All right, you are speaking to us. Okay? I need one more person. Let me see your hand. If you are breaking that culture of silence. Ori, could no one more. Oh, they know first time. Hey, I need a lady. Very good. You. Next mind talk, 5 minutes. So we have a male and a lady. Those will be our stars. Next mind talk. Thank you for having Pastor Tayo for having me.
Okay, so thank you very much, Director. I'll just add one last thing to what he said, just a tiny thing. And one of the practical ways you can begin to apply what you've learned today is by posting your works. I mean, those things that they are teaching you in class. So today you learned what a variable is, how to create a function. Post about it. Post it. Post. We'll keep shouting this till you do it. Post on your social media platforms. At least think about it this way. Me, I will like it. Once I see that it's SQI, I will like it. Director too will like it. It does that a lot. At least your parents will like it. Your brother, your sister will like it. From there, people will start thinking, they don't like it, JK will not like it. That's the way social media works actually. Sometimes you don't want to like something. It's just because you've seen a lot of people that have liked it. You are now like, post your work. Thank you very much. I'll invite Mr. Tayo. He said we should introduce him as Mr. Tayo. To take the question and answer part. We have quite a lot of questions. I don't know if you're more comfortable there. Okay. All right. So the first question is, so someone said, anonymously, we all know the African mother scenario and mentality. How do you go about breaking silence about this? Especially if she thinks she's always right, no matter what your opinion is. So how do we go about explaining or communicating our opinions, especially when we believe that, yes, to parents, especially when we believe that it's right or it's something that we should communicate to them? So that's the person's question.
Okay, thank you very much. Let me start by saying that if you are going to convince someone who, by reason of time, has seen more than you have, you must first start from the point of agreement before you move to the realm of disagreement. All right? So what are the things two of you agree on? You know, sometimes when we try to, especially our parents, it's a delicate place to go to. I handle roots, and sometimes, like when the doctor was talking earlier, he mentioned some things, and knowledge jumped to my heart during his words, that trying to be vocal does not mean being insultive or forcing down your own opinion or being rebellious. No, that's not the drill. Now, yesterday I heard some testimonies among some young folks when they were speaking about them and their parents, and that's what I'm going to use to answer this question. Now, I've spoken about agreeing first. What are the things you agree on? I believe until your parents see maturity by result in your action in you, there are some things that you might come to correct in what they are doing that they won't hear. Because they can't trust your person, that person speaking. Your words might be correct, but who is speaking is immature. So it renders whatever you are trying to correct void, null. So when they were speaking, they were saying, when my dad woke up, He saw me reading at night. Day one, he went back. Day two, he read. Day three, he asked, why are you reading? I must meet up with the things they gave us to do in church. So he said, the conclusion, he said, now they ask me for my opinion on matters. Another one, be coming home. So I have things to do. Be coming home. I have things to do. You and that your place that you are going to. You and that your place that you are going to. Shortly after that, the parents found themselves in the place where the daughter have been. They now ask, how have you been running it? So that person spoke and they were like, so it's it, bye. Now, do you know that it will be easier to correct when the person is accepted? I explained already earlier that if I face a people, if you do not introduce me the way you did, there might be people that might not pay attention. So it's not hyping. It's opening the heart of people to listen. The same way, it's not by hyping yourself, me, comrade, that will make your parents listen to whatever you have to say. It has to be the impact of your actions at home. Another one, the same day said, you told me to be washing my plates a night before the next day. I started in school. When I got home, I continued. So they asked in the morning, Talofa boy. They say, Emini. The mother was shocked. The next day, Talofa boy. Emini. The mother was shocked. Shortly after, they saw a change in the actions, which I said earlier speaks louder than you forcing down your voice. At that point, they start asking, Akido Fibekashi, you will know we're going, you will know, you will become the focus point for a change. And then, when you have things to impute, I think they will listen. But trying to get the voice, no, that's noise. I believe I've been able to answer this.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
A round of applause for him.
Yes.
Please. Thank you very much, sir.
And if I may add something to it, these same rules apply to maybe dealing with a tough boss. Yeah. You use the example of a tough parent, Abi? But it's like a general rule, a general law. So when you learn it with your parent, you will be surprised how you will get great men to listen to you. When your personality speaks a lot, before they tell you anything, you get it done. They could see discipline from afar. Yeah.
Wow. A round of applause, please. Wow.
Sorry, just to add a little thing to what had been said earlier. I think we could explain what Pastor Tayo said with the traffic rule when the engineers are building road. Not everybody goes to the same direction, but at the point, you get at the point together, then you have to branch. Okay? Should have been okay if you have been walking and then you just, it could be a right angled corner, you understand? But when you are on speed, you have to move from a point of agreement before you disagree. The disagreement is a turning. So, but the engineers made the road in such a way that it goes like we are still agreeing, until I go my own way. If it's too sharp, then there will be an accident. That's when you have a disagreement with your parent or with your boss. I want to get there, but let's flow together until I get to my spot. Then I go. I don't go sharp. I still have to go. You will learn it from the way they build bridges and road. You just slide off. Even if your parent will never agree with you, even if they will never agree with you, you still have to flow and then move out. You go, and I go. Thank you very much.
I'll keep saying thank you again because we have so many questions flowing in and this is not normal. So it's the topic that is bringing about this. So people are overcoming silence already right now. So another question says, when do you think is the right time to talk in our everyday life? How do you analyze when it's time to talk? How do you know that moment of space to break the silence? That's the second question. When do you, or how do you know when it's time to talk?
First, let me commend the person, the asker. That person have thought deep. It's from a depth. Anyway, let me first speak. There are various platforms in which you find yourself, which will control or determine what or when you will speak. All right, let me come from the one everybody must at least come from, which is the family. The first person that asked a question about the parents, when do you talk? I used to tell some of my people, you will be counted rebellious if you speak against what has been said, even though you are right. In a manner, if you don't consider the manner you say it, and when you say it. Something happened between myself and my dad some years ago. Of course, I know how the interior of the living room should look like, but my dad arranged it in the way he wanted it to look like. So I was correcting one day, and he gave me the right answer. That answer was so correct that you can see I can't forget it today. And so I do tell my people, until you are able to shelter yourself and feed yourself, you keep going on the same pedestal. So while you are doing that, be building capacity for when you will need to bend. So that is just for family. But if I'm going to bring it generally, I will say that it is relative. There might not be an hard and fast truth to when to speak. All right? So since it is relative, it also helps us to break it down to the place of who speaks. You said it. There is always someone behind the voice. Who is speaking? That person's mind will determine understanding of when to speak or when not to. Nobody can tell you this is the time. There is just this opportunity that will be opened, and there will be a striking based on your level of wisdom and maturity. That now, talk. So what controls you, that defines your maturity, will tell you when you have to speak or when not to speak. The wisest man cannot tell you, speak now, don't talk now. Speak now, don't talk now. So there are forces that guides you. Some have them in person. Sir, I have this thing with my almighty sorrow. It's a guide. It's also a caution. I still spoke with one of my young ones yesterday. I said, be careful, don't get hungry. Whenever you are hungry, keep quiet. Of recent, keep quiet until you know what to do. Which was based on what happened to me yesterday. I have a football team, and we played a match yesterday against a team that have never lost any match in their history. So when we started the match, I was very tired. These young men were just complaining on the pitch. Everything the referee blows, they complain, because the referee came from our own side. All right? How? So they have been making noise. I'm talking about silence here. They have been making noise. And I was also trying to, because on the sideline, you must talk, or else the referee can ride. They scored first in the second half on our own home ground, and I was tensed. Like, are you serious? These guys are not going to go beat us here. We scored. You won't believe that they removed their goal. They say it's offside. And it remained 1-0. I was like, so at a point, I got a caution to be quiet. And then I kept quiet. When I kept quiet, I could see clearer. Normally, I was meant to be talking on the sideline to keep the heat on the referee to do the right thing. I kept mute. I commanded all my boys to keep mute, and they all did. And then I was able to switch formation. We scored 4 goals in that second half, and won 4-1 eventually. And I told my boys, I said, our results will shut them up. After the second goal, the third goal, they started leaving one by one. And not their noise soiled. So sometimes, who will tell me not to talk at that time? The maturity and the need for that silence at that, because I was supposed to be talking normally. So nobody can tell you when to, because sometimes when you feel you should is when you should keep mute. But you feel you should be minister when you should speak. So even the wisest man cannot tell you when. It boils down back to kilo jedebe, means if you go with all the knowledge without character, without understanding, without wisdom, you will divulge when you shouldn't. For example, we were hearing these voice notes. You were to talk, you said, if the director will permit me. That's a caution internally. Some people will say the same thing without that request, and the same word will become an offense. That caution, that clause you added, validates what you said. That's the wisdom. You nobody gave you. Who came to advise you where you stood when you were talking? So that's the reason why when we are moving, it is you that speaks. It is you that keeps mute. So maybe we should work on you. You, then you can know what to do. You, then you can know what to do eventually.
Thank you very much, sir. I think I just picked up one thing from what you said now again. Beyond, he had said it before, beyond the words you actually speak, a lot of times is who you are that speaks more. You might not necessarily have to speak every time. Who you are. So maybe the major focus should be on building who you are. And that would reflect outside. Another question is this. We are not taking questions again. If you have any other question, you send it on YouTube or something like that. What lessons can we learn from other countries or regions who have successfully overcome this similar culture of silence? And how can we adapt these lessons to specific context of African societies?
I don't know if I can. I don't know if I can, because he mentioned it earlier.
Yes.
When he was speaking about, he used the analogy of the young folks.
Yes, sir.
Our young folks not talking, and from other countries, they ask you what's your name and they communicate. So maybe you should read the question again for her.
Okay, so what lessons can we learn from other countries or regions that have successfully overcome similar cultures of silence? Then how can we adapt these lessons to specific context of African societies? So they have overcome already. What can we learn from them? How can we apply it to our everyday life?
Okay. Mention it. Wasn't the first time I thinking about it. It's something that I have been thinking about for quite so long and asking questions. How are they doing it? I have realized that somehow there are little kids also were born with, I'm shy. And you see some of their movies, even though they are shy, still go and try. They put themselves together. Do you notice that whenever they are talking over there, they have this attitude of just making sound and clapping and healing and hyping? Any little thing. You'll be like, what's the name of this man that has this show, that, like a comedy show? Is
Steve Harvey.
Harvey. Thank you. Maybe we say something. I will still want to listen to the next one. They are already shouting. Then we encourage Harvey to want to speak more. They have that somehow in their culture. They don't shut themselves up. We do that a lot here. Yeah, we do that a lot here.
You must be bold to talk.
Yes?
You must be bold enough to speak.
Yeah. A lot of shut up there. A lot of shut up here, less of shut up there. They want to analyze, they want to check. Now, another thing is that they have presented themselves they have promoted themselves, hyped themselves, presented themselves to be good and great. All right? We, together in conjunction with CNN, have presented our own self as lower. The moment they mention Nigeria on CNN, you know what to see. You will see mud houses with people, trying to find food, with buckets going to fetch water. That's what you see. But the last time Mark Zuckerberg came to Nigeria, he never showed up in any place that looks like that. Do you get what I'm talking about, sir?
Yes.
He showed up in beautiful places. The same Nigeria. So it's a strategy that we are here to learn. There are people sleeping on the street, normal people, living on the street. We don't have that here, do we? We don't have normal people sleeping on the street. We know the kind of people.
In cars over there.
Yeah. We don't have normal people sleeping outside here. May they do that? But the camera will never go there. Where do we put our own cameras? Where do we put it? Those areas that are horrible. So it's affecting us, even ourselves. It felt we are low wherever we get to. So how will you be able to speak when you feel you are lower than the platform? So those are few of the culture. It's like a talk on its own. So you want to identify what are great about you. What are great about you. I have never spoken anywhere with a white man before that I will not mention some things he's missing by not coming to Africa. I will make him feel like coming to Africa. You. Snow wants to kill you here. Come and see good weather. Normal weather. See how green is cars here. Come and see correct green. You don't need to do anything. It will grow. Like life. There is life. You are still looking for things, wonderful things that you will be like, oh, a man, I think is an actor. He was promoting Nigeria so much, and the way he was talking, so beautiful, sir. He was talking, I would say, he was talking about, African food, the eba, the amala, oh my God, and the white lady that were interviewing him was like, oh, we will come. You know, he found something good to say about it. So, if you feel you are low, you will find it hard to talk. That is just it. You have to look at something good that you have. You have to look at something quality that you have. You have to hype yourself. We have so many good things here. I was spoken with a white man before, and I explained to him how poor US and Canada is. I wasn't trying to be. I was just so plain. You know, they were so poor, so poor. Although it is the poverty that pushed them to come to Africa. They needed the resources we have. We have all the resources that they need over there, so they had to come. But because we were just so relaxed, just the same way it happens to wealthy men, children, so relaxed, you don't think you need to do anything extra again. That was why they were able to, you know, take charge and colonize and things like that. So just cut off Africa resources. Have you seen that you are so poor? Do you want us to cut it off? That alone, even silence the other man. That alone, thinking that that is true. So find something good about yourself. Meditate on it. It helps to build the presence that you will need to talk.
Thank you very much, sir. Director wants to add.
Thank you very much. Just a minute. I'll be through with my own talk. One thing I want us to know is that nobody is shutting you up. The platform is not against you. The nature is not against you. You can shut yourself up or decide to speak out. Why do I say this is that we are fond of some quotes like on fait power money, like they are against the masses. Try to define those we call they. Now, who are those they? Are they having a meeting actually against you? It could be yes or no. How many times have you had a plan against them? A very logical plan. They having a meeting because they want to survive. They don't want to they don't want to lose their importance in the society. Now, how many times have you organized yourself? Did I say NSAS? You organize yourself. Yes, kudos to the youth then. But what shut them up was that you heard that they, in quote, were planning to get you off the street. They had a meeting, no doubt. And they said, there's a curfew. Did you have a meeting, logical meeting, and said, what are the rules backing up curfew? I said it was a game plan. It was a card they played. They laid the card on the table for you. You had several cards. Which one are you going to lay on theirs? Said, these people, it's better they get off the street. They have been having good something I mean, all the while. But you never had a meeting. You are silencing yourself. You cut that movement off by yourself because you never sat down and say, no, let's get off. Let's reverse to come back another day because this thing is against the law, to breach the law of curfew. Then they got the ego that anything we do against you, now that you have flaunted the curfew rules, we can say you are criminals. You can say you are planning a coup. You can say you are doing anything. We want to enter into Dodan barracks to carry guns. So what I want to actually say is that no organized enemy against you. They are living their lives. When you say they, and it means, we are saying they, and it means the government now. When you say they, and it means the white men, they are living their lives. Britain wants to survive. Okay? You too, you must live your life. Don't say they have made Nigeria a company and this and that. How many times have you sat down to be free from them? They are doing that because it seems they found you before you found them. That's the only thing the white man has against the blacks. They told their stories before we began to tell our stories. They wrote their stories before we wrote ours. What are we doing? They brought their heavier guns, better guns, before we did ours. They made a ship that can go intercontinental. We are still making boats just to catch the fishes. What are we doing? So when you say they, and it seems that there are a lot of people against you, it weighs you down. And I think I'm off that for a very long time. I believe if I don't talk, it's my fault. If I don't take action, it's my fault. You are fighting for your survival. I must survive too. So until Africa is ready to actually speak out, show the nice places, get its own CNN, which one is it? BBC. BBC has Yoruba. BBC Yoruba. And they are much more accepted on the social media more than any Yoruba platform. Where is BBC representing us? Where is our voice? Let me add this. May God help us. Thank you.
A round of applause, please. Something I've come to pick from what he said is nobody's going to value you until you begin to value yourself. It's the day when you are eating pizza that you remember to post it online. Eating pizza. The day when you are eating fufu in your bedroom, you won't post it too. Meanwhile, fufu is currently trending because they posted it. How many of us have seen that post of the player that is eating fufu that said it's because of fufu that is playing very well? Because he posted it and now we are beginning to appreciate it. So value yourself and others will begin to value you. So someone asked, how can I build my vocal abilities and gain confidence to effectively communicate with the audience? Sir?
How did you get yours in better version? You mentioned it earlier that there was a version, where are you? Who are you? Said it earlier that this better version, maybe you should tell that person how you got this better version of your grammar.
Okay, so how can you build your vocal abilities and gain confidence to effectively communicate with the audience? I think I'll give kudos to SQI because SQI has pushed me to do a lot of things I normally do not do. So thank you to SQI. So I think you need people and platforms that would sometimes push you to be out there, number one. And I think the second thing is build yourself in the first place. If you don't have anything to talk about, then you'll be shy because you know it's nonsense that will come out of your mouth. So maybe first build yourself and then put yourself on platforms that will enable you to speak, and that's going to help.
Let me just chip a little into that. You have to know your audience. Know the people you are speaking to. Please, Yoruba is not vernacular. Neither is your native language vernacular.
Yes, sir.
May God forgive those who made us pay money for speaking our dialect. Oh, so I'm not the only one. All right, so it's not. There are some places where you go to and you will still have to communicate. For example, there is a governor that is trying to, under an umbrella during these gubernatorial elections, that in a Yoruba speaking state, he couldn't communicate well in Yoruba. And that became, the person I'm talking about, that became a matter. All right? So it's not vernacular. If you take that same guy in a setting where they are elites, it will definitely convince them to whatever he wants to say. So working on your vocals, for example, I think when Dr. also went to the radio, he was advised to speak in Yoruba over there, even though he's going to talk about tech. All right, that is one. Number two, there's an art of speaking. I said that earlier, that this thing is a music. You know the way to talk. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. What's the old riffs and wrongs with good afternoon? Look at the way I said good afternoon. I just plugged it on the good afternoon. Welcome. You're welcome. It's music. You're welcome. You will appreciate that one more than you are welcome. Sit down here. We just go straight to the point. We plugged it on our grammar and you can learn it. It's called accent. So when you want to speak Yoruba, you can distinct your speaking Yoruba with Yoruba accent and distinct. You won't say Emi Lokan as Emi Lokan. It comes with its own accent. So you want to speak English, also it comes with its own accent. So you can learn that. There are seminars, online teachings. You can learn the accent. I didn't learn it. I became better by speaking. But we can learn. There was a time when I used to teach, and they would come and tell me we didn't hear what you were saying, and I was using mic. I'm serious. Years ago, when I was, sir, they didn't hear. Despite the mic, yes, the words were too. My diphthongs, the aura was not distinct. You won't hear the words. So with speaking, I got better. My vocal cord adjusted to being able to speak, and you can hear me with the mic. I got used to it. So you can say that you can hear me clearly now, right? There was a time when you wouldn't hear me despite this mic. Another thing is, what do they call this now? Practice. There are some times when you have a lot to say in your mind and you begin to stammer. And so you don't know what to say. By practice, speak to empty chairs if you need to speak. Sometimes you realize what you want to say in the bedroom when you are having your bath. So just, good afternoon, my name is Tayo Shibuale. How may I meet you? I'm a business developer, a project manager. Okay, that didn't go well. So you can learn it before you know it. The truth is, you will be bold enough to speak, and sometimes before you talk, they call it impetuosity, speaking without thinking. Think before you speak. Read. Yamani so wana ko gbeseti. Now so you speak to yourself first in your mind. How do I put this? Okay, silence means this and this. Then you say it out. Gradually you will get used to the art of speaking. That is how to self-teach yourself, and then when you see teachings around, go ahead and enroll for it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. I'll take one last question. I've pocketed the remaining questions because they are quite similar, so apologies to whoever's question is not going to be answered. We're also considering our time, but we'll forward this question to Mr. Tayo, and then he'll give us a response. We'll send it to the groups. So we'll take one last one, and we'll call it a day. So can one break silence without being assertive? Or what is the difference between being assertive and breaking silence? I think this person is trying to ask that there are different ways to communicate. Which way is the best, regardless of the audience that you're speaking with? Do you want to be assertive? Do you want to be aggressive? Do you want to be passive-aggressive? Do you want to be passive? I think that's what the person is asking about.
I think this question has been asked inside one of the previous questions.
Yes.
You understand? It's more or less like I said, also for emphasis sake, the wisest man can tell you, because you can't control what will happen next when you step out this door. There are some times when you need to be aggressive. Yes. There are times when you need to be loud. If you will not stand here and take that from them. What are they doing? We won't stand here and take it from them. We will not sit down here and take this from you. This guy is. Can we have a dialogue? Like the day Ginomelai was speaking on at the time. You can't say that I'm whispering. And so nobody's going to tell you. And it's not every time you'll be fit to talk based on who you are. You are the one who is speaking. There are times when you, based on who you are not fit to talk at that time. You must be spoken for, even though you know what to say. Am I making sense?
Yes, sir.
You know what to say, you have what you say, but another person must be your voice. I've read that before from a guy called Moses and his brother Aaron. He knows what to say, but he was not the one to speak. It will not sound as it should, according to him. So sometimes you need somebody to speak on your behalf, but it still boils down to what? Understanding. It's your level of wisdom. Who you are is who we speak. So you can speak through another person. You can speak through typing. You can speak through different medium. Yes, and so I don't know. I think that it has been answered in the video. You are the one that speak, that determines what platform you're using to speak and how you speak.
Thank you very much, sir. Can we have a round of applause for Mr. Tayo? I'd like for us to just in a couple of seconds look towards Mr. Tayo, stretch his hand towards him, and say, "Thank you, sir." Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Kamsa Amida. Thank you very much, sir. We really appreciate you. We are glad that you're here. All right, so we are coming to a close of Mind Talk for today. And you're wondering which language I was speaking. Don't worry. Come for tutorials later. We're coming to the end of Mind Talk for today. And the major announcement, Mr. Simosi, do we have any other announcement? They're very important. All right. The major announcement is that for some of us that are still going to be having classes, our classes continue right after this class. You already know the way to your class, and just find your way to your class and ensure that you attend the classes. Thank you very much. Can we just say one last thing? Thank you to the director and director, and happy birthday to the director. So thank you. Then happy birthday. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Good to see you again. Very short because of my anniversary. From one program to Sunday to evening meeting to this morning. Who lost the line?
But you have to locate a space. I was glad when they said unto me, "Let us go to the house of the Lord." Great space.